What's up, world? This your boy Tommy Mav, and I wanted to drop in and do a video about the whole Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder discussion about who won, because I'm so like, okay. First and foremost, congratulations to Tyson Fury. He won the match. Going into that match, I never really knew who was going to win, because if it came down to boxing, if you asked the majority of people, they would have said Tyson Fury is going to win. Tyson Fury is the better boxer. Wilder is really just a puncher. He has slow feet. He has terrible feet. He can't move that well. He really just has a right hand. And you knew it was going to be a matter of time where he was going to come into an opponent where he wasn't going to be able to land that right hand. People knew that was going to happen, but he was such an efficient knockout artist that people thought that people believed he could pull it off. But all these people coming out of the woodwork now are the ones that are really, pissing me off. Tyson Fury got robbed. First of all, Tyson Fury did not get robbed the first game. You get your ass knocked down 3 times. Nobody robbed you in a fight. First and foremost, you shouldn't. They should have called that fight, because when you hit that ground, you were out. There was no recognition in your face. They should have called that fight from the minute your ass hit that canvas, because you were out. They gave you a standing 8 count when they shouldn't have gave you no standing 8 count, because your ass was out. So you was lucky to get out of there with a draw, because they allowed you to stand back up. Because normally they would have called that fight when you hit that when your head hit that canvas and you were out like you were, because you were gone. And I guarantee you, had it been the 3rd or 4th round, they would have stopped that fight, because you had no idea where you were at that time. I guarantee you, when you stood up, you had no idea where you were. So the people jumping out of BS, he beat him twice. He dominated. First of all, he did not dominate him, because this is my problem when you run into perception sports, right? Perception sports or perception sports are very tricky, right? Most sports in which you have to judge who's winning the fight, it generally is heavily influenced by if you have the sound on or not, because you're not going to see every good punch the person who the crowd is not cheering for gets, because they're not going to cheer every time he gets a punch. And it's different between, especially when you got a black fighter and a white fighter. White fighters black people have been whooping white fighters' ass for like 30 years, right? Really, as soon as black fighters were allowed to fight white fighters, they've been kicking their ass. So years and years go by, and it starts to build up. Obviously, you get a lot of these guys who are just like, you know what I'm saying? They want to see a white guy win, and they don't give a shit if. Tyson Fury has literally mocked America in his fights, but they don't give a shit, right? They don't care about the fact that he disrespected America by wearing an American flag when he was fighting a American dude, and embarrassing him, and basically making disrespecting America in the way that he was, right? He did that. Tyson Fury did that. Tyson Fury did that, and yet 90% of the people in America, white America, was still rooting for Tyson Fury. That's how much they hate black fighters, right? And they want a white fighter to win. Not so much they hate black fighters, but they really want a white fighter to win. And I think they're gonna get their feelings hurt. Tyson Fury is not that good of a fighter. Tyson Fury is he's extremely boring to watch. Even tonight's fight was boring. He and this is controversial, and people probably won't want to hear it, but it's the truth. I don't think he knocks Wilder out if he didn't get away with that illegal punch in the 2nd round. It was clearly an illegal punch. He clearly punched Deontay Wilder right behind his ear, and I do think it was intentional. I do think Tyson Fury did that on purpose. I think he meant to punch Wilder in that spot. It was too accurate of a punch and he's too accurate of a puncher for him to miss like that. I think it was clear that immediately it was clear to Deontay Wilder, because he looked at the referee immediately like he just punched me. He hit me with a legal rabbit punch. It was clearly an illegal rabbit punch. They did not give him the knockdown, but the scorecard still showed it, so I don't really know. But that punch, Wilder was out from that point on. He was just out. I think it busted his eardrum, or messed something up, because he started bleeding out of his ear. So it was clear that Deontay Wilder wasn't the same fighter after that. He was staggering. Even after, when he's first coming out of the corner, he was staggering. Kudos to him. He tried to stick in. But it just, even before that, Tyson Fury just had a better game plan for him. You can clearly see Tyson Fury was the better fighter. Before he ever got punched, I don't think he was gonna. I don't think the fight would have got stopped if Wilder didn't get punched in the ear. But I do not think Deontay Wilder would have won the fight had he not been punched in the ear. I still think Tyson Fury would have won. I think Tyson Fury learned from the last fight and came in with a better game plan. I clearly saw. You can clearly see. He this time he was smart. He stayed inside, because he understand when you are a fighter like Deontay Wilder. Yes, he can punch because he has those long arms, so he gets a lot of whip in his punches when he lands them. So it's easy for him to knock people out. But if you stay inside his guard, since his arms are so long, if he wants to punch you, he has to open up, or he has to drop that shoulder back, and every time he did, all Tyson Fury did was just hug him. He just grabbed him. So he took the wind up was so long that every time he tried to get it off, Tyson Fury would just grab him, and he had nowhere to go, and Tyson Fury would just put that weight on him, and he just kept putting that weight on him, and I think halfway through before he ever even got to that punch, you could tell Wilder was. I mean, you fighting. I'm sorry, there's nothing Wilder can do. He really shouldn't be a heavyweight. He's 231 pounds. Even before the fight, I looked at it, I'm like, wow, he is really light for a heavyweight. Like, he's only 230 pounds. He's barely bigger than a light heavyweight. Light heavyweight is 205, and that's probably what he probably can lose weight in fighting light heavyweight. But he's fighting, but he went up to heavyweight, so he's fighting a guy that are like 40, 50 pounds heavier than he is. You know what I mean? He's fighting really, really big guys, and I think Tyson Fury, like I said before, I do not think Tyson Fury is a special fighter. I don't think he is. I think if he fights Anthony Joshua, he's going to lose. I don't think he's a good fighter. I think I think Tyson Fury last fight went out there afraid of Wilder, and he was dodging and moving around Wilder, thinking that he can just dodge him, and he got caught a couple times. And I think this fight, instead of him staying on the outside dodging, he realized Tyson that Wilder has a long wind up, so he just stayed inside and hugged him every time he went for the big shots. And yeah, at the beginning when Wilder was more on top of it, before he got tired, he was dinging him. He was dinging Fury every time he tried to come in. But after that punch to the ear, it was just done. You know what I'm saying? He could tell he was off. And after that, he really was just he was surviving rounds. He wasn't really winning. He was clearly just surviving these rounds. And I mean, it really wasn't even close. I mean, it wasn't close at all. Half of the fight. And it's cool, Tyson Fury won the fight. He clearly won the fight. I don't think anybody's that surprised that Tyson. I don't think this isn't a Buster Douglas. I mean, people going in there thought it was a chance that Tyson Fury could win the fight. A lot of people feel like if Wilder wouldn't have got those 3 knockdowns in the last fight, Tyson Fury would have won. I happen to disagree, because I don't give people points for running. And that's all Tyson Fury did. He landed like 8 more punches than Deontay Wilder in that fight. I thought it was a terrible fight. Deontay Wilder looked terrible in this fight. He just did. He couldn't move. He looked incredibly stiff. He looked incredibly slow-footed. He couldn't move. He couldn't get. He has terrible feet. Whoever teaches him to fight, I don't know how he can be as light as he is, but move as awkwardly as he does. He's a very awkward fighter. He doesn't. He has. It seems as if all he trains is an offense. He needs to get his footwork better. His footwork is horrible. One of the worst. He has some of the worst footwork of anybody I've ever seen. But, he was a black heavyweight, in respect to Wilder. Wilder's a great fighter. You fighting guys who are 40, 50 pounds heavier than you, and you're knocking them out. Wilder's a great fighter. But you can't, when you're fighting a guy like Tyson Fury, you're gonna have to be more than just a puncher. Tyson Fury he's going to do all the little cheap stuff, the rabbit punches, the holding, the grabbing, the headlock. He's gonna get away as much as the referee lets him get away with. He's going to get away with it, and he uses boxing savvy against a younger fighter. And Wilder not even a younger fighter, but a unseasoned fighter, unskilled fighter. And Fury just gave him a boxing lesson. Fury boxed him, clearly outboxed him. It wasn't even close. I would give him I would give Wilder maybe the first 2 rounds. Only because and it's a toss up on the first round. I might have given him the second round. But after he got hit, even before he got hit in the ear. The third round. Excuse me. After he got hit in the ear in the third round, it was done. It was done. He had nothing. He had nothing left. He was done after that. And like I said, I thought the first 2 rounds were close. You can go either way. I would definitely give Wilder the second round. The first round is a toss-up, and the third round on. Fury just gave him a boxing lesson. After that, after he caught him, even before he caught him, in the third round, you can clearly see Wilder had no legs. That's how he got caught, because he had no legs. He had literally nothing. It was, he was like pop, and it was done. He got caught because he was dead. Wilder just kept leaning on him every time. I was like, yeah, that referee is allowing him to lean a lot on Wilder, and the referee was not. The referee had to take points away from him because Fury wasn't getting off him. Fury kept laying on him and kept laying all his weight on him, and he continued to do it. He did that. He did it for several minutes, just laying on him until the referee basically pushed him off him. And he did that, and you can clearly see it started getting to the point where Wilder just was walking around dead-legged. He was dead. He was tired. And that's the lesson. No matter how powerful you are, you can't jump into a ring with a guy who's 40 or 50 pounds heavier than you and think that it's going to somehow, change, going to not affect the fight. The guy's 40 pounds heavier than you. Not only that, he's 2 inches taller than Wilder. So Wilder doesn't even have a reach advantage. You know what I mean? Not that it helps if Wilder did, because Wilder doesn't really have quick hands. He doesn't have fast hands. He just has a loaded right hand. That's all he got. He can't even knock you out with both hands. He really only has that right hand. So that's why he's an easy fighter to prepare for, because he's not really he's slow-footed. You know what I'm saying? He has no left hand. His left hand he doesn't put much power behind that left hand. He really just has that right hand. And Tyson Fury just kept putting weight on him. And people go out, Tyson Fury beat his ass. Come on, dude. Literally outside of that rabbit punch, he didn't really do any damage. That's why, but that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they always end up disappointed with egg on their face. They do this all the time, right? Tyson Fury is a matchup problem for Deontay Wilder. He's not a matchup problem for Ruiz, that guy that Wilder beat. He's not half of the guys that Wilder beat. Tyson Fury can't beat those guys because he can't do what he did to Wilder against those guys. He can't lean on them because they're actual heavyweights. They'll just push him off and catch him with a combination. And I think I mean, really, if you take Wilder off his list, who has Tyson Fury beat? He beat a guy he's 50 pounds heavier than and 2 inches taller than. Yet they're acting like this proves he's the greatest heavyweight of all time. And it's like, hold up now. I mean, like, this is y'all problem. You know what I'm saying? It's like, y'all, okay, great. He won the fight. But let's not, y'all, I mean, come on. When I read that, are you out of your freaking mind? Tyson Fury is a marginal to average fighter. He's not a great fighter. He just happened to have an advantage over a guy that he was 40 to 50 pounds heavier than, and freaking because he weighed in at 276. He probably walks around at closer to 300. So who knows how much more he weighs than and you can look at Wilder's frame and see that Wilder's really just not that big of a guy. He's very skinny, especially his legs are very small. So very, very narrow and skinny. So he's just putting that weight on him, and that helps against Wilder. Does not help you against a guy, a stacked brick house like AJ. I'm sorry, Anthony Johnson is built different. He's also a fighter. He has quick feet. He's not gonna stand there and just let you lean on him. He's not gonna stand there and just let you fall on him. I guarantee you, if Anthony Joshua fights Tyson Fury, I don't think it'll be a close fight. After seeing Tyson Fury in 3 straight fights, he's not. To me, he's not impressive. He looks impressive. He's only looked impressive in 2 fights. That's the fight against both his fights against Anthony Wilder. Because it's a very easy. Because Anthony Wilder is a terrible fighter. I mean, Deontay Wilder is a terrible fighter. I mean, a boxer. He's a great fighter, but he's a terrible boxer. He's easy to scheme against because he doesn't do a lot of things well. He's clearly just a guy who hides and waits on you to open up so he can catch you well. And all he needs to at any point he can catch you and he'll knock you out. And that's the threat you go in there with. But he's also 30 to 40 pounds lighter than most of the people 40, 50 pounds lighter than the people he fights. And it's easy if you can get inside his guard and put your weight on him, like Fury was doing. You can cause him a lot of problems because he can't really hit you with the other hand. He can only hit you with that right. So if you do what Wilder was doing, Fury was doing, which is getting inside. Sometimes he took some punches, but getting inside because Wilder is not gonna move. It's not like he's gonna slip you and get out and make you run after him and catch him. No. He's going to stand there, and it's going to be easy to get inside his guard, wrap him up whenever he pulls back the punch. And he's not going to be able to put much on those punches unless you're on the outside because he has such a long windup. So let's cut, great. Congratulations to Tyson Fury for winning. You know what I'm saying? But let's not get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? Like I read on and I get it. Like I said, you got black fighters who've been dominating for since they came into the sport, and you finally got one victory where two undefeated black fighter, undefeated white fighter, and a white fighter actually won. Kudos for him. He just happened to be 40 or 50 pounds heavier and 2 inches taller than the guy he was fighting, and used his weight on him. So it's not to take it. I'm not trying to say Wilder signed up for the fight. So I'm not trying to act like Wilder didn't. It's a fight. But let's not act like he did some great awesome feat. He beat a guy that he should have beat. I gotta see it against a guy his size, a guy that he can't just lay on top of. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I think the guy that Wilder beat before him would destroy Tyson Fury. the guy who got caught with the steroids that Wilder beat twice from knockouts, I think he would destroy Fury in a fight. I think Anthony Joshua would destroy Fury in a fight. But I don't think Anthony Joshua could beat Deontay Wilder because he is not as heavy as Fury. See, it's when Joshua is big, but he's strong. He's like thick, like muscle. So that doesn't fall on you like fat does. Fat is harder when you're a boxer and you got somebody who's big, but they're like sloppy big, and they fall on you. All that weight is not stationary. It moves with them. So when they lay on top of you, all that weight seems to just flops on top of you. It's different when you find that Joshua is not. He's not going to be able to have that weight with him and just lean on. I mean, he might be able to do it to an extent, but he's not going to be able to do it in the same way that Tyson Fury can do it. So I do think Deontay Wilder could beat Anthony Joshua. I do not think that Tyson Fury can beat Anthony Joshua because he can't do what he did against Wilder against Anthony Joshua. I think he'll get his ass knocked out if he tries that. If he tries to work inside Anthony Joshua's guard and just lean on him, it's not gonna work because Anthony Joshua is way more of a skilled boxer and way better at way thicker than Deontay Wilder is. And I think that if he tries that against Anthony Joshua, he's gonna be waking up. I think if him and Deontay Wilder fought again, I don't know if it would be the same outcome. Because I think that now Deontay Wilder, will go into that next fight understanding what he did in this fight, which was just lean on him. But to be honest, I really don't think as much he could do because he's not that good of a fighter. He's not that good of a boxer. He doesn't move. He doesn't slip. He doesn't move. He doesn't use a lot of boxing tactics. He really his defense is poor. He takes a lot of shots, so he's not gonna win on points. He's never gonna win on points because he's not an efficient fighter. He doesn't. If he lands a shot, he gives away 3. So in the end, I just don't think that works. I just wanted to make a video because I love boxing. Boxing's a love of mine, and kudos to Fury. I'm glad to see the heavyweight division going back. Sucks that Wilder lost, you know what I'm saying, because he's American and we want our American fighters. I like Lennox Lewis, but it wasn't the same as Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Ali. It just wasn't the same with a British fighter. So it does suck that Deontay Wilder lost. But I knew Deontay Wilder was going to lose eventually. The question was when he was going to lose. I did not see him losing to Tyson Fury, but I also thought Tyson Fury was going to fight how he fought last fight, but he came in with a completely different game plan in which he just said he was going to put that weight on him. And it was a smart idea, and you can tell Deontay Wilder was not expecting it at all, and Fury really capitalized on it, putting weight on him. And that rabbit punch was huge. You know what I'm saying? That rabbit punch was huge to why the fight ended up being stopped. I think that's where the bleeding in the ear started, from that punch. So I don't. All I'll say is I do think that Deontay Wilder is a great fighter, and I hope that he bounces back from this. I do not think that Tyson Fury is dumb enough to fight him again, because you gotta wait the fight before this where he caught you with some heavy hits. Second fight, was this fight was just like I said. I think he came in with a game plan that surprised Wilder. I don't think he risked going into a third fight. I mean, because Wilder basically had to beg him to fight him the second time because he wasn't keen on fighting Wilder again. So I seriously doubt he's gonna fight Wilder again. But yeah, But even if he doesn't, Wilder still has Anthony Joshua out there. He still has a lot of contenders out there. But he's not gonna have the same heat around his name that he once did. Because with that, when you got that one next to your name, and people have seen you get beaten, not only beaten but beaten in a stoppage, you kind of lose that same mystique you had before. As this bad man or this anomaly or this, freak of nature. You're not a freak of nature because they've seen you're human. When a guy that big, they see your Achilles heel, and it's gonna be hard for him to win fights now because I think the book is out on him. You know what I'm saying? You put your weight on him. You get inside. You get inside that right hand. You know what I'm saying? And lay your weight on that side to where he can't cock back, and he's useless. He can't throw any punches. He can't do anything, and he's not a skilled enough fighter to change his stance or change the way he's fighting. He's not Floyd. He's not like Floyd. When you try to you can't figure him out because every round he's doing something different, counteracting what you did in the round before. He's not. It's not. Deontay Wilder's not going to change scheme. All he's going to do is keep waiting on that opening so he can land that right. And Tyson Fury, maybe if they would have went 12 rounds, he might have got it. But they stopped the fight because he was clearly out of it. I mean, he was barely defending himself at times. It's like he was getting caught and his hands were down. It's like if I applaud his because that's a hard thing to do, but I applaud his corner for just ending that because he wasn't protecting himself anymore. You can clearly see he was out of it. You know what I'm saying? He was just barely holding it up. And like I said before, I think Tyson Fury will live this down, and these people will tout him for the next, 6 or 7 months until he fights someone like Anthony Joshua, gets his ass knocked out, and then it's gonna be another guy who won a fight against a guy, and then people gonna go back and actually analyze it when Wilder loses a couple more fights, and they're gonna realize that the win over Wilder really wasn't that big of a deal. And then he's gonna be in a position where people where people gonna actually realize he really wasn't that good. He just beat a guy who also really wasn't that great of a fighter. He definitely wasn't. He definitely isn't a skilled fighter. He was an exciting fighter, but he wasn't a skilled fighter by any means. And beating him does not somehow prove that Tyson Fury is a great fighter. I just don't buy that. I mean, sorry, he is a great fighter. That he's the greatest fighter out. No, I don't. Him beating Wilder proves that he's a very skilled boxer, and that that against Wilder, a guy he's clearly bigger than, he can beat him with his brain by just leaning on him and cheating pretty much most of the fight. So, and I'm not saying the fight was a cheat. I'm saying like because when I say cheat, and I shouldn't even use that word at all because I didn't mean cheating. I meant outsmart. He just outsmarted Wilder, and it was kind of easy to do because Wilder really isn't that skilled of a fighter. But I do think people need to calm down because I think they're way over exaggerating this bullshit. Like he's somehow proven that he's the greatest fighter on the planet because he knocked out Deontay Wilder, who majority of people thought was a great fighter, but nobody thought he was a skilled boxer. They're running around touting this junk like it's a Rocky victory. Yeah, it's really Rocky. He beat a guy. He's 40. He's probably walking around with. He probably got in the ring at probably like 280, 290, fighting a guy that weighs 230 pounds. And he's 2 inches taller than him and has a 3-inch reach advantage on him. I'm sorry, it's not Rocky. He's supposed to win that fight. He's more skilled than he is. He's bigger than he is. He has longer reach than he has, and he's a better boxer. So I don't understand why it's, yes, yes, there's a possibility that Deontay Wilder knocked him out. But everybody said if Deontay Wilder, most people would have told you if Deontay Wilder didn't knock him out, he was going to lose. In most fights, if Deontay Wilder doesn't knock people out, he loses. Because he's never going to win on points because he's a terrible boxer. So, and that, like I said before, don't give me that bullshit about it was a knockout. That's not no damn knockout. He punched the guy in the back of the head, made him start bleeding, and then he ended up eventually having to stop the fight because he was bleeding out his ear. I mean, I'm sorry that you didn't knock that man out. You know what I'm saying? It's like come on. Like, if you want to tout that shit, then tout that shit. But you know good and damn well you didn't knock that man out. He didn't knock Wilder out. He caught Wilder with an illegal punch. That was why the fight ended up being stopped. As I said before, I don't know what would have happened had Wilder not taken that punch, but I damn sure know it wouldn't have been no stoppage of a fight if Wilder did not take that punch. Because that started the bleeding in the ear that eventually led to them stopping the fight. So I'm sorry, I'm not giving you credit for knocking him out when really you the one punch you landed, hard punch you landed, was an illegal punch to the back of his ear. I'm sorry, you should have got a point taken away from that thing, but in the end it wouldn't have mattered anyways because after that he just wasn't the same fighter. But like I said, I don't know what fight we would have got, but I do know that Fury used his weight well. And I don't know if it was his weight or if Wilder was just out of it after that punch, but Wilder just never could recover. His legs were just shaky the whole match. Whenever he went to move, it looked like he was about to fall. And like I said, we live in a white society, and they're gonna run a narrative. So the narrative will be that they're not gonna mention the illegal punch. They're not gonna mention that Wilder that Fury outweighs Wilder by about 40 or 50 pounds. They're not gonna say he has a 2 or 3 inch because they need to celebrate this victory. So let them celebrate it. But at the end of the day, do I really think that Tyson Fury is a great fighter? No. Do I think they're going to end up getting their heart burst when he goes out and fights someone who's an actual talented heavyweight, not somebody from one of these washed up bums he's been fighting over the last 2 or 3 years outside of that shitty fight he had with Klitschko? No, I think he's going to get his ass handed to him. I don't think he's a great fighter. I just don't. I don't think he punches with much power. I don't think he has fast hands. I don't think he's an efficient fighter. I don't think he lands a lot of punches. I think he has incredibly slow punches. I think that he lacks power, and he doesn't do anything he doesn't do anything well. It is what it is. I do think that with Wilder gone, it's really gonna hurt that division. Wilder was exciting to watch. He knocked people out. He brought something to the heavyweight division that a lot of people that nobody had brought in a long time. You know what I'm saying? Which is excitement, knowing that you're gonna see a knockout. But now he's lost, so it's really gonna hurt that whole division because Anthony Joshua is more of a Lennox Lewis type of fighter, stand behind his jab, boring really. And you saw Tyson Fury; he's boring as hell. This is probably his first knockout, and it wasn't even really a knockout. Like I said, he had an illegal punch. So it's like that's what you got, and that's gonna be who you guys are marketing now. I think it's gonna fall by the wayside because same thing with Klitschko. He's not even American born, so American people are only rooting for him because he's going against a black guy. So so now that he's beating a black guy, the interest is off. They don't give a shit anymore. So it doesn't matter if he wins the next 10 fights, especially if he happens to be fighting other white guys or guys who are scrubs. Nobody's gonna give a shit. He had to go back to Wilder because he was still undefeated, but Wilder was selling tickets and he wasn't selling shit. Nobody gave a crap about it. That's why he had to come back to Wilder, because he couldn't get any money fighting anybody else, because he really wasn't, he's not that big of a name. He really just known because, like I said, they only give a shit about him because when he fights black fighters. So they'll care about him when he fights Anthony Joshua. I don't give a shit about him when he fights anybody else. And in the end, they're gonna end up with the same problem they had going in. Nobody watching the sport, because it's been a long time since they had interest in the heavyweight division, and this happens. Same thing with Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. Even though Mike Tyson was a way more skilled fighter than Deontay Wilder, but it's the same type of situation. You run into a guy who falls into a pattern of just trying to knock people out. Anyways, I just want this people drop in and speak on that. Please thumbs it up if you like the video, and comment and subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.